Welcome back to Broughton on Business. I am very excited. I have with me a real estate guru. Actually, he's been called the key to your next move, the $1 Million Man, Realtor Reese, Reese Punter, president of McMahon Phillips. Reese, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing fantastic, and I got to say, I'm excited to be here.
So Reese, let's just jump in real quick. You've been able to do some very unique things in real estate, and just having the ability to understand complex needs of investors, buyers and sellers. I mean, what helped you cultivate your success in this market?
Well, it's funny. If you ask me, I'll say, hey, I've been lucky. I've been lucky at picking the right avenue to go down, but I'm gonna break it down for you a little bit easier than that. First and foremost, I've been everything that you've just mentioned. I've been a buyer in real estate, I've been a seller in real estate, and I've been an investor in real estate. So it's very easy to kind of navigate some of the needs of our buyers, our sellers, investors out there when you've been all that. Second of all, I think a huge percentage of folks out there, buyers, sellers, and especially investors, a huge percent of investors will learn by a trial and error. They've tried this, they've tried that. This doesn't work, that doesn't work. So I've taken 10 years of my experience, 10 plus years of my experience, and kind of cultivated a plan or a blueprint, as I like to say, that's tailored for either my buyers, my sellers, and my investors, and help them navigate through a process without having to go through the trial and errors, because that'll set you back in time and it'll set you back in money.
Excellent. So Reese, you have this thing about you. Not only are you knowledgeable, but you have this just energy and this charisma.
Who paid you?
So,
who paid him off?
And so, what I've heard in the street, not only heard, but what I've seen is that you get a lot of referrals. And so, how key is relationship building to real estate, to selling real estate?
Well, you know what? It's not a part of. It is. It's absolutely essential. It is the most important thing in real estate is relationship building. And, I tell you, I've tried it both ways. I've been one of those realtors that wanted to produce a mass amount of transactions, and I never got to know my clients, and I never got to touch base with them on a daily basis, because I've set up systems in place and we were able to satisfy the client's needs, and that's one thing. However, if you're really going to go over and above and develop a core relationship with them and hold their hand through this, as I like to call it, a flight of home ownership, it really expands the relationship. You'll get more referrals out of it, because they'll trust you to watch their kids for the weekend if you can show them some positive returns if they're an investor, or if you get them in the home of their dreams if you're a buyer. And I think most importantly, with developing these relationships with folks, it gives you an insight of why you're doing this. Why did we get into this business in the first place? We got into it to develop keen relationships that can expand our business and can expand what we love to do in life.
So Reese, you've prided yourself on offering exclusive services, amenities to your clients that they really can't get anywhere else. Do you believe that having these unique, value propositions has helped you become more marketable in this market or in any market?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I was kind of an underdog coming in. I was living at the time in Land Park when I first got my real estate license. And I was going to have to go up against some folks that had been in the business for a number of years, that had a wealth of knowledge. And I had to come up with something that was a little bit different. And so, back in 2005, I was one of the first firms that had real estate and loans. Although I didn't dive into loans, I did have a department that added that as a service for my clients. Piggybacking from that, I went on to develop a plan in real estate that I don't even think any firms are doing it today. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. That partnered real estate and real estate attorney together that enabled us to serve clients and to provide a service to the clients out there for free. And I'll talk about how I put that together in a moment. But, I think it's important to have a unique value proposition in going into any business, because you have to get behind first and foremost, what you're passionate in. Pick a sector, any sector, get behind it and help as many people as you possibly can. And when you help as many people as you possibly can, good things come about it.
So Reese, let's talk about, the market was declining a couple of years ago, evidently in real estate. And, there was realtors saying we're not making any money. We're not, all this stuff come about. And yet you were noted as being the $10 million man in a declining economy while most people were struggling. Like, how is this even possible?
Well, can I go back to me being lucky again? No, you know what? And first, before I answer this, let me say, when I came in here and you guys said I was on the hot seat, I had no idea you were actually going to put me under these floodlights and I'm in the hot seat. I'm over here sweating because
he is in the hot seat.
He just got me in the hot seat over here. But no, to be honest with you, when I said I put together a plan in real estate to tackle the short sale market, and I'll be honest, I missed the REO boat. I was a little bit arrogant, I was a little naive, and I had just come off a huge success with me launching my first company that I had been bought out of. And I was under the impression that this REO market, it wasn't going to overcome our general market that we had been working in. I thought there was still going to be a healthy amount of buyers, a healthy amount of sellers that were going to dominate the marketplace, and that the short sales and the REOs were going to be a very, very small portion of the market. So I was naive in that, and I missed the boat. I should have been aligning myself at that time with asset managers and with other investors, with banks that could give me some insight on that REO market. So I said to myself, I'm not going to miss this short sale opportunity. And so I call it my Jerry Maguire moment. And you've heard me tell the story, but I sat down at home and I just wrote a business plan, and it took me all night. And my wife's getting up at 5:30 in the morning. I'm just getting ready to go to sleep because I need some. But in this business plan, what I wrote out was I needed a real estate attorney to get with me, and that also was a broker, and open up or merge a business plan together that enabled us to go out and help folks that needed a short sale. Because, let's face it, in 2009, we were faced with a huge amount of short sales that just infiltrated the market. Banks didn't know how to handle them. Realtors didn't know how to handle them. We didn't know how to negotiate them. We didn't know what they needed. We didn't know what they wanted. And quite frankly, they didn't either. And when I took a tour to a local bank that I'll now name because they're out of the market. But when I went over to Wachovia and I took a tour, and I said, what is going on? Why is it taking 6, 8, 9, 10 months, a year to do these short sales or to complete these short sales? And I went up and I was actually surprised because those file boxes they have, the little, they're not complete. It's like an incomplete file, and they just kind of have those and they stack them up. This room was lined almost to the ceiling with these boxes of short sales that had infiltrated the banks, and there was 2 people working them. And I said, excuse me, Mr. Vice President, where are all the other workers? And he says, listen, Reese, I'm going to be very candid with you. We are going to take these on a case-by-case basis. I'm sure we're going to formulate a plan. But right now, we're not in the business. We're not going to spend money to lose money, in other words. And I thought, wow, someone out there is going to have to take it amongst themselves. And so after being thrown out of a number of real estate attorneys' offices, because, of course, they want their money up front, right? You sit in front of me, and we'll give you a plan. And we want our $200 or $300 or whatever that was. And so I finally found an attorney here that was willing to see my vision and align themselves with me, that enabled people to come in for no cost, speak with an attorney, and if they had tax questions, for no cost, speak with a tax consultant. And then once they've had those fears satisfied, and they knew that we can either move on in this short sale process by way of Senate Bill 458 that was passed in 2011 July, or if we fell into a category which enabled us to short sale our home without a tax or a consequence from the bank coming after us, then they used me to short sell their home. And so it was a win-win for the public, and it just snowballed into a wave of success for me, largely because I was helping a lot of people. But when that word spread, I got to tell you, they were all lining up.
That's amazing. And so, with that said, Reese, you've been here in this region and been doing real estate for a while, but you've been able to work with some notable people here in the region, and even NBA basketball players. What would you say was your most memorable sale or transaction?
I just recently I've worked with a number of Kings players. I'm happy for that. But I'll tell you, my most memorable, if I'm being honest, was my first. It was back in late 2003, maybe early 2004, and it was a state employee, and she came to me as a buyer. And let's face it, when you're new, I was holding open houses where nobody wanted to hold open houses. My signs were being stolen, all these things. But I had to go out there. I had to door knock. I had to do those things that agents didn't want to do to generate business and to generate income. And so I met a dear lady. She was in her late 50s, maybe early 60s. And she was kind of like a mom figure to me. And as we went around and we were searching for homes, I felt myself at times, being the good son and telling her, no, this isn't for you, or no, we're going to find a place that's a little safer, or what have you. But having her to be in a situation where she was going through a divorce, had been married many, many years, and I got to tell you, I was very honest with her. I said, look, we're going to learn together. I'm going to work hard. But I'll tell you, you're my first transaction. And what that means for you is that I'm not working with anybody else. And finding a home for her and getting her in and getting her settled as my first transaction was my most memorable and the best one.
So Reese, as we're coming to a close, I just have a couple more questions that I want to ask you. Since I have you here, I know time is precious. You've worked for a lot of Fortune 500 companies over the years. How did you even get into real estate and being your career? Like, what got you into this?
Well, I failed at being a stockbroker, and so it was advertising or real estate.
And so, Reese, obviously, being a realtor, you got to spend some marketing dollars. You got to do something in marketing, and everything is going online. And it seems like you've made a huge transition to make sure that you're digital, that people are able to go online and find you. How do you feel that this is going to make an impact? Your online presence is going to make an impact in how you do business today?
Well, you know what I've learned, and that's one of those trial and error things, in the last more than a decade that I've been in this business. But when you have the future leaders of America coming to you and telling you, hey, you need to be here, you need to be there. I'm not going to, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. I was arrogant and I was naive with the REO market, and I figured, listen, the future leaders of America are telling me I need social media, I need to have a presence online, I need to reach out and touch not only the clients that I've worked in the past and for referrals, but in attributing new business, we have a new age buyer. Their social media knowledge is off the charts. And if I'm not going to be an expert in that, then I'm going to at least have the foresight and the sense going forward to use those tools to help market my business. And I'll tell you, I'm not near where I want to be. However, what I have used so far has increased my business tremendously.
Wonderful. And so, Reese, as we close, I want to make sure, how do people get in touch with you? And what do you feel that you want to leave our listeners with today? If you can leave them with one thing.
Well, if I can leave them with one thing going, if you're a realtor out there, get involved. Get with Facebook, get with Twitter, get with social media in and of itself. And I'm sure I'm missing a few out. Someone just even told me that that Pinterest was great and explained to me how that could really help my business. And so for buyers, sellers, investors out there, get with a professional. Get with a professional. Don't rely on doing your own research. I know that there's a lot of websites out there. There's a lot of places where you can get your knowledge. However, it's always great to speak to someone that does this every day. So if you're out there, you have questions, buying, selling, investing, give me a call, 916-804-7526, 916-804-7526, or you can go to my website, www.realtorreese.com. I know I don't need to say the www part. See, that's how far it goes for me. I don't even know what I need to say anymore.
Awesome.
Just go to realtorreese.com.
Thank you very much, Realtor Reese, for being here today. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.